This is Anderson Penn's podcast, episode 18 for Monday, September 24th, 2012. This is Brian.
This is Lisa.
This is the Anderson Penn's Radio Network. Welcome. Welcome to the Dallas Penn Show Review Edition.
It's already Monday?
It's Monday.
Feels so weird. Feels like we've been gone for like a week.
We might have been.
Maybe. Now, for those of you who may not have picked up on this, we drive to all of the Penn shows. We only drive. In fact, we even upgraded our car because we bring so much stuff. Well, that was one of the reasons. So this whole week, last week, Brian went into work early. And so on Wednesday, I drove him in. And it was, 6?
6 o'clock in the
6 in the morning, so that I could pick him up from work, and we could just leave from there, since he works about half an hour, 45 minutes south of where we live, and it's right along the way. We drove all night, which is what we always do, and something a little unusual for us, we actually stopped twice to sleep in a rest area. We just couldn't go any further because it had been just such a long week. But we managed to still make good time and stretch. So it was nice. We left. It was a little chilly. We had on sweaters and leggings. And by the time that we got south in the morning, we were pulling clothes off.
Yeah, Thursday brought us to Texas around 3 o'clock. And we arrived at Destination 1.
Yay.
Which is kind of an annual tradition for us, the Allen, Texas Outlet Mall.
Yes.
And as we step out of the car for the first time in quite a while, we're hit with a nice wave of heat. I think the temperature was 87 that day.
It was hot.
Yep. So Lisa gets to go to the Coach Outlet. We hit a couple other stores, Brooks Brothers. But for the first time, maybe ever, since we've gone down there, we've been down there several times now, even for not going to shows. We didn't buy anything.
But it was Penn related.
Yeah.
We only go to Texas for pens, apparently.
Yeah. Usually we buy clothes, jackets, boots, etc. for winter. But I guess the stuff that we bought in the past 2 years are still in good order, so it looks like we'll be skipping that this year. So
There's always next year.
Yep.
The show hotel is only about 20 minutes or so south of the outlet mall. So once we stretched our legs and kind of unkinked our backs, it was time to get back in the car, get to the hotel. And we always forget that when we leave the mall and we keep driving and we're only, like 5 miles from the hotel, and then we run into traffic.
Yeah.
Never fails. We always forget that part. Major construction and traffic. But we got there. It was awesome to finally arrive at the hotel. And then we ended up sitting around for about 20 minutes waiting for a concierge cart. A hotel this big, and they only have, 3?
3, I think is what they said. Or somebody said 3.
3 concierge carts. We finally got one, and yet another overeager concierge or bellman who wants to just yank our stuff out of the car as fast as possible. It never works, since I play Tetris when I pack the boxes, and some things have to be handled carefully. There's one box we don't let anyone touch after the unfortunate wedding weekend incident.
The Chicago 2010 incident.
Trauma, drama, whatever you want to call it. We have a lot of ink, so it's very fragile. You can't just lift it up and throw it around. And I just, worry every time they grab a box and just kind of toss it on the cart that a large box of ink is going to fall, and suddenly, half the parking lot is blue and purple.
Yeah. Well, and there's no way to get them to they got to make their buck, and that's they're there to help. But at least the ink didn't drop or anything. But the only thing that did fall was one of our paper displays. Paper was kind of spewed over the course of a good couple feet there.
Yeah.
2 trips up to the room, and thank goodness for the second queen bed, as that's where kind of everything went. No sense in bending over on the floor to pick up the stuff when you got a nice bed there. So I think we ran into Mike Walker, who was one of the show organizers, one of the members of the Dallas Pen Club. We met up with him pretty early, and he showed us where the early trading room was around the corner. We were kind of tired and decided we weren't going to set anything up, but we would go and look.
Which is just as dangerous.
Yeah, well, we checked out the room pretty quick, said hi to a few people that were there, went upstairs to kind of freshen up, and then we came back down to get a better look at what was going on. In a room with so few people, and I don't know how to describe this room, what the size of it is, but
it's just a small
15 by 15 maybe. Is that maybe a little bit bigger than that?
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
Yeah, you wouldn't think there'd be much to buy, but nibs apparently were the item du jour. We walked out with a bag of nibs. We found a hard to find Esterbrook nib as well. And that ended up in the bag. But early arrivals in the trading room included Pete Kirby, another Dallas club member. He displayed a nice consignment collection that he had. A couple of the highlights, he had a beautiful Waterman 542.5 V, solid gold safety. That's the small vest pocket size. He had a Parker eyedropper. I want to say it was a model 33, but don't quote me on that. Nice overlay with the gold little crown on top. Joel Hamilton had his usual assortment of beautiful pens, including one that caught my eye, which is kind of funny, was a silver Parker Vacuumatic Maxima, which had the Christian Olsen mark on it. So it was Danish, and a custom cap band.
It was really pretty.
Yeah.
That should have come home with us.
It should have. It's, probably belonged to one of your ancestors.
It could have. Yep.
Pendleton Brown showed up. Bill and Nancy Majors were there. They had, I can't remember if they brought any pens with them, but that evening, but they were there. Andy Lambro was there showing off his new book, The Pens of Japan, which is quite a thick book.
It's gorgeous.
I didn't count how many pages, but that thing is huge.
A lot.
I mean, you could hurt somebody with that thing. It's just a big book. Nice, beautiful pictures in there. And a couple other people, and names escape me, but we quickly realized we hadn't had dinner, so we were too tired to drive anywhere. And the thought of eating our leftover sandwiches from lunch earlier in the day wasn't so appealing. We wanted some hot food, so the hotel bar seemed to be the logical choice, and it did not disappoint.
It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I was kind of impressed. What did we have? We had some spicy egg rolls, chicken tenders, and some wings. And they had, for you beer lovers out there, they had some Sam Adams. I think it was Sam Adams Oktoberfest on tap. So it was a fitting dinner, I guess. It was just what we needed. Best hotel food I think I've had in quite a while. So.
Yep, the Bloody Mary was just a hair too spicy, I thought, but yummy. And the bartenders were very attentive. It was good service. It was kind of exactly what we needed. Was just a little nosh and a little alcohol and just somebody to wait on us for just a little bit.
Just nice to not be moving.
Yes, it was. So. We also ran into in the trading room. Angelica and Mario from Toys from the Attic, and they had been at the pool for a good couple hours, which reminded me that we forgot our bathing suits again.
Put it on the list.
So I need to put it on the checklist. Yeah, bathing suits, because oh my God, wouldn't the hot tub have felt awesome?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So next time, after dinner, we went up to the room, got ready for bed. It felt like about midnight or 2 in the morning, but it turned out it was only about 8 o'clock p.m.
Yep.
Our wake-up time was at 6, which sounds painful, but 10 hours of sleep was really, really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, up and at it early. Laying down for more than an hour when you're not moving is really restful and does a body good. We usually bring our own breakfast. So we ate that while getting ready. What we have? Muffins and
Muffins and orange juice and
yeah,
probably something else.
yeah, it was good. And the really strong coffee in the room, I think.
Yep.
Then we started to get our hand cart loaded up with some boxes and went downstairs. We figured that we would have to fight over the invisible concierge carts. And by the time we made 2 trips down, we'd already kind of gotten in line with somebody. We found somebody who had a concierge cart, kind of got in line for his when he was done. And we only needed 1 trip, I think, by the time that we'd taken a couple loads down with the hand cart. And setting up the table was, 2.5 hours?
Yeah, I didn't time it at this show. Usually, I mean, I don't purposely time it, but I take
Stopwatch.
I take note of how long it takes because then you can gauge how early you need to get up. But it usually takes several hours to get everything in place. You usually have some people coming by and checking things out and talking to you while you're trying to set things up. So that delays things a little bit, but that's all right.
Put them to work.
We went big this time around. Put them to work. We took 5 tables. So actually it worked out nice, I think, because it allowed us to kind of spread out as we set everything up. So I don't know how we did with less before, but I guess we'll figure it out. Friday traffic, quite busy and steady almost the entire day.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. One of the nice things I like about Dallas is it goes to 8 o'clock at night on Friday. And I think that's a good move, especially for a 2-day show, especially on a Friday. People are going to be at work. They're coming home. They can still have dinner with the family, and then they can come over. If they can't make it on Saturday, there's still time to make it on Friday. So I think it was about 4 o'clock before we actually got a chance to sit down and take a break. Being busy, I didn't have much time to scout out pens in the room, but anytime I needed to go somewhere for whatever reason, I always take the long way around and kind of check out a table or 2 or 3.
Yeah, I noticed it took you a long time to just go get coffee or water when it was, just right over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pay Mike for those nibs. I'll be right back.
20 minutes later, from the opposite direction,
yeah.
Here you go.
The show spans 2 rooms, and this year the second room, which is actually kind of the first room, it's the smaller room. It was completely full of dealers. Last year it was about half full with the silent auction,
which is much bigger.
Yeah, which is a Dallas tradition there. The silent auction was larger than last year, as best I could tell. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on there, some really cool stuff. And that was all in the outer area there where you check in. But just huge, just really, really big this year.
Yep, lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
We bid on several things. We were outbid on everything, but kept going back and checking, and
yeah,
a lot of cool stuff.
Well, the nice thing about it is with the silent auction is even if you don't win, your bid is contributing to the success. It's contributing to the Dallas Pen Show and the Dallas Pen Club, and you can feel good about doing it because there are some real good deals there.
Absolutely.
There were some modern pens, there's some nice vintage pens. There was There was an old Anoto glass display case. There was a Franklin display case or a Franklin tray. I mean, really cool stuff. I mean, it's not just some ballpoints and a couple of junker ring tops. I mean, there was some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things every year going to the Dallas show is the necessary stop at Presnell Wood's table. I don't know where this guy finds his pens. I don't, he finds some really amazing pens. You'd think it'd be hard by now in this day and age to find early hard rubber pens and overlays in the wild. And it is, don't get me wrong, but he always comes up with new ones. Every time I see him, he's got something new. It's like, oh, I just found this at a estate sale, or in my quest this trip for an early dip pen, as I talked about in my Dallas Pen Show wish list, I noticed he had an interesting, kind of a big wood pen rest. It had these 4 holes in it, and then he had bottles of ink in there. And then it had a little rest in the front. On the rest was the pen rest wasn't of much interest to me, but there was a pearl-handed dip pen that was on the rest that did catch my eye, and it came with the box. Just happen to have it here. It's your standard dip pen box. It's got the nice little latches, but you open it up and it looks like your typical pearl-handled dip pen. It's got a gold-filled little shaft there, and it's got a nice 14-karat gold flexible ventless nib.
Yet another dip pen.
Well, how does this grab you? Bard and Brothers, New York, number 2. Now,
Bardhead Brothers?
Bardhead Brothers, 3 of them at least in this instance. And for some of you who know what that is, you're probably smiling. And for those that don't, you might recognize the name. The very, very early Maybe Todd pens, Maybe Todd and Bard. These are pre-Maybe Todd. And actually, the imprint on this particular nib is really effectively dates it. Thanks to David Moken, his awesome book on Maybe in America, but puts it in the time frame 1849 to 1850. So you've got a nice New York nib maker, which is the precursor to Maybe Todd and Bard and Maybe Todd, makers of the Swan line of pens, in the original box. Just really nice little pen. So. That I picked up on Friday, and Lisa, speaking of the wish list, had on her list script search that she doesn't have. And one of these days, I'm going to take a picture of the pen chest, just so you understand that this is really a pretty impossible mission. Now, she has most of them, including the matching pencils, and we do know that there are some real high-end ones that are almost impossible to find. I don't even think Kim Sosin has them all. But anyway, why don't you tell us about...
Well, someday Kim says to send her a picture so she can see what I have and what I need, and she'll let me, maybe pick a couple duplicates that she has so that I can fill some gaps. But this lovely older gentleman came to the table holding this lone pen. And he said he's not a collector. He had 4 pens when he came to the show. So, of course, my first question is, well, how many do you have now?
Yeah.
And it turns out he wasn't looking to buy. He was looking to sell. And so he had a script cert. Where did it put it? The corduroy pattern.
Okay. I couldn't remember what the pattern was on that one.
It's the corduroy. So I don't know if you can see. It's black with gold, very, very fine gold lines.
Pinstripes, sort of?
Typical nib. In very good shape. Very clean. Nib didn't look to be mangled or anything. And so I snatched it up. I wasn't sure if... I knew that I had one, but I wasn't sure, since this was in such good condition, if it was going to be an upgrade for the one that I have at home. But when I got home, I did look at the other one that I had originally, and it actually has the original chalk marks on it. So I will be keeping mine. But, it was worth it. He left with a little bit of cash, and he sold all 4 of the pens that he had, and I got another nice script cert. So it was pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Towards the end of the day, more wandering around. It kind of slows down a little bit at the end of the day, but I got a chance to see some friends that we only get to see in this southern belt This in Little Rock primarily, but one of them is Alan Butler, and he is one of the Diamond Point collectors. Now, I know he's sold a number of his pens. I've bought some, and a couple other people have bought some, but one called out to me, and I had seen this pen last year, I think in the year before, but I like to wait a little bit until I start buying my pens. You know, the first day you try to lay low, you scout out the prey, then you strike on the next day.
So, wait, one talked to you?
One did talk to me, actually.
Did I know that? Did you talk back?
You know, it's...
Is there something I need to know? Did you buy a pen?
No, I didn't buy it, actually.
Should I have bought it? We have an anniversary coming up. Oh, you should have told me.
Well, you know, see, the thing is if you buy early, you never know what you may come up with later. You know, and then you're out of money, or you've spent, you know, you don't have enough, or something. So, you know, patience. When going to the shows. I mean, it's a nice pen, and if he has it next year, I probably should just buy this stinking thing, because I've been looking at it for 2 years now.
All right, next year anniversary present. There you go.
In fact, I'm not even going to tell you what it is, so nobody goes and calls him up and buys it. Another one of my favorite people to visit, and who goes to a few more shows, but he's present in the South, Sam Alardo. He has the most fabulous display of pens, and he has them laying kind of just like haphazardly, nonchalantly. I don't know how you want to describe it. They're just kind of, they're hanging out, you know what I mean? And anytime we're at a show together and we have a couple minutes to spare, we always get together and we have a little show and tell of early pens, because we both really appreciate them. This time was no exception. And he had this special little case, and it must have held, I don't know, 8-10 pens. It was kind of small. I mean, it wasn't very big. And they're mostly Aiken Lambert and Carey overlays, and the most spectacular pen I've seen in a while. I mean, this was just outrageous. Gold-filled filigree. Beautiful high relief pattern. Number 7 size with an Aiken Lambert number 7 nib. Okay, that's big, and for Aiken Lambert, a number 7 nib is unusual. It's very hard to find in and of itself. But this one had a special vent hole. Was actually V-shaped towards the tip, and the best part, a factory stub on this pen. Just outrageous.
Did we bring that home?
You were going to leave me in Texas if I even...
Oh, that was the payment plan.
That was the
pen.
one I said we should do a payment plan on, because I have paid more for pens, so it wasn't...
I wouldn't brag about that.
It wasn't that expensive.
I've paid less for cars, so there's got to be a...
Well, yeah, I kept looking at his pens and thinking, okay, that's the outlier. That's the one that's way over here. There's got to be something that's, you know, down here that I can afford. Perhaps equally as stunning, he had this really, really cool sterling filigree. And it had, what was cool about it, the actual filigree work itself was very simple, very plain, but it had the filigree work extend over the top of the cap.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
kind of I can't explain it, but most of the time either the filigree ends at the cap, at the top, and the top is just the hard rubber, or it extends over the top and the top is all sterling. But this one over the top, I mean, it was really a jeweler's art at its finest. It was really, really beautiful. Who else? Kim Sosin. Oh my goodness. She kills me. She kills me.
See, now you say that to Sam Alardo every time you guys get together, and Sam says, you know, I'm not trying to sell it. I just wanted you to, I just wanted to show it to you. And out of your mouth, it's the same phrase every time. Sam, you're killing me.
Well, you know, in Little Rock, he brought over what, like four slaughter boxes full of stuff. I mean, you know, pearl slab overlays. I mean, it was just,
you were like
And
drooling.
he just throws them at me like it's, candy or something. It's just like, crack addict and he's the dealer or something. But Kim's got pens too that are just crazy. Some of the most stunning pens. If you've never taken a look at her table, and she attends quite a few shows. She'll be in Columbus, I'm sure.
Yep.
You're missing out.
Now, we did, I think we may have done Kim some harm, though, because we introduced her to a good friend of ours and the PCA treasurer, Julie Bynum, who collects a number of similar pens. So I think the two of them, once I introduced them, I don't know that we saw them again separately. They were swapping pens, and I'm sure that they both needed to take a head count of pens at the end of the show to make sure that each of them ended up with the pens she was supposed to go home with. So it was kind of cool because Julie has an impressive collection as well. But
she does.
Yep, I think Sue, we've made kind of a pen match there. I'm not sure whose bank account's going to hurt more.
I don't know, but I did spot a pen on Kim's table, and if she still, I didn't get it, but if she still has it in Columbus, I may have to wrestle it from her. The price was right, and it's one that I've been looking for, and I've been thinking about putting it on my wish lists, but I'm going to do it. I think for Columbus, I'm going to put it on the list.
All right.
Let's see. During some slow periods on Friday, both of us managed to get out. We kind of make critical strike. We kind of planned. Okay, I'm gonna go over to that table for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna talk to so and so, and I'll be right back because it's so busy that, and with 5 tables,
yeah,
you gotta have 2 people. Yeah, you can't be gone very long. But one such table was manned by our Jaffa rep. And he had the new Delta Fusion pen. And if you're not familiar with this pen, I'm not surprised. It's very new.
You will be.
You will be. It's cool. It's now normally when I think of Delta, I'm thinking big, fat, chunky pens with usually over the top trim. Sometimes even so much so that it's tacky. This is a really nice pen. It's tapered at the top. It has the reason they call it Fusion, it has this cool nib. It's a steel nib, but then it has this 18 karat gold plate that's almost as big as the nib itself that is fused to the steel. And supposedly the properties of this plate, and when they heat it, they change the properties of the metal such that the ink flows better. That's supposedly the idea behind the pen. I don't care. It wrote great. It looks cool. And the plastics that they had 4. It comes in 4 different colors. He didn't have the 4th one, but they're really, really cool. So it's a kind of plastic you got to see in person. Rotate it in the light and. Yeah, really, really cool. Very, very tasteful looking pen. I'd like to see us maybe grab a couple of those pretty soon. And I also grabbed another pen that's kind of caught my eye lately, and I think some of our customers will like the Monteverdi, the Invincia Stylus. Picked it up in brushed chrome, and this is cool. It's brushed chrome. It's got black trim. And a black nib. They also have a black stealth version, which I really wanted to pick up, but they didn't have it. So we'll be getting that soon, hopefully.
Yep. Another stop when I was sneaking out was the Tasha table. Some really pretty pens there, and we couldn't resist grabbing those for the website and the table as well. They'll be arriving, I think, next week.
Oh, good.
Good
Are
writers.
we going to get them before Detroit, or did they say when they're shipping them out?
I don't know, so probably not before Detroit.
It'd be awesome if we could. They're pretty cool.
I don't think they'll be here.
Okay.
But they'll be arriving soon, probably next week. The stick is a senior size pen. It's very distinguished looking.
Mm-hmm.
The legato is really pretty. Couple nice patterns, and I can't talk now. The Premier is kind of a mosaic looking pen, really pretty. Friday night finally rolled around. We ended up at the hotel bar again. Julie Bynum, who also has a blog, she goes by Okami. She showed off some of her pens. Pen would do I'm So Proud, a Nikaya, a Danny Trio, custom Edison, and a really cool one by Ernest Shin. So we got to play with those.
Yep. Yeah, they're really fantastic looking pens. Definitely a little different taste in pens than the usual hard rubber and the Scriptserts and Pelicans and stuff that we collect. But, that's how it is at pen shows. You get exposed to other things. Food again, we had dinner right at the bar. Very good. I think I had a burger. I don't remember what you had, salad or something. Doesn't matter. It was all good.
I don't remember. I think I had a Cobb salad or something.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Sam Adams Oktoberfest was all gone. Sadly, not a very good selection of beer left. But it could have been partly due to the large number of people that were present in the hotel for any number of trade shows and conventions that were going on. There was some crazy convention that morning, like helicopter equipment, and goggles, and just all sorts of stuff. And then later on in the evening, there was some party going on where people were dressing in flapper outfits and all sorts of crazy stuff. But we had a nice dinner at the bar, and I got a chance to talk with Larry Bettinghouse, another one of the Dallas Pen Club boys. Talked to him about how the show was run. Had a good conversation. My exhaustion started to kick in, and it was time for bed. So.
Yep. Saturday morning, got up early, back down to the table. At least we didn't have to set up, so that was awesome. Early morning traffic was pretty good. Business was brisk. Our friends Tim and Mike Butler showed up from Little Rock, and Mike brought with him some tempting and interesting things for show and tell. And Mike, I don't know that anybody will tell you, and Brian probably won't admit it, but he kind of ran out to the car when they got there. So,
for probably 2 weeks or more, Mike had been torturing me. Texting me with pictures of the most amazing dip pen I think any of us had ever seen. In fact, later on in the week, I was getting text messages from Tim, or emails from Tim telling me this thing is just outrageous. Dare I say, ridiculously so large. So he brings this dip pen to the show, and coincidentally, and actually the reason I bought the first dip pen in the first place, this particular pen bears the name Bard and Brothers. However, it's not a number 2 size.
No, it's not.
Just to give you an idea, I just want to give you an idea. Now, most of you are familiar with the number 2 size nib. Now, I already showed you the other one, but in fountain pen size, that's a number 2 Waterman nib right there. Okay. The biggest, one of the largest Waterman nibs, not the largest, but I don't happen to have that one, but one of the largest recognizable Waterman nibs is the number 8. That's this guy here.
Just hold the two up together.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now you can see.
That's a big nib.
Yeah. The number 8 is like twice the size of the number 2. It's huge. And it's 3 times the girth. It's outrageous. So, and I may have mentioned before that Mike kept sending me these pictures. Like, here's the Bard Brothers nib next to an Esterbrook nib, and I'm next to a 51 nib. It's just ridiculous. So here's the number 8 nib. That's the Bard Brothers nib.
It's a snow shovel.
It's a snow shovel, people. And if you don't know what a Waterman nib is, a lot of you probably have a reference to. an Esterbrook Nib. I mean,
Wait, I can't see it.
can you see it? I mean, just how ridiculous is that? I mean, it's so large. So, and it comes complete. It's got the holder. It's an ebony taper, a gold-filled holder section here, and it's actually interesting because this holder, it's worn in 3 spots, and precisely the 3 spots that the original owner actually put his hands when he used it. Now, I normally dislike this kind of wear or brassing, as it's sometimes called, but I thought this was really unique in that you can actually now tell, gives us some insight into how it was used. So he shows this to me. I'm like, okay, just put it on the table. That's cool. And then he brings out another case, a little case. I don't know if it holds 10 or something. It was just a cute little case. But he proceeds to pull pen after pen out of this case. He goes, "Oh, I know you like hard rubber pens. I'd like to show you some." So he's got a security pen, a French modeled safety. He's got an eagle, a coin filler, and he's got a wort. So now I have this fondness for wort, as some of you know. They actually did some work for Esterbrook in the early days. So I take a closer look. This is a ring top. Just happen to have it right here. A ring top. It's got a nice gold-filled floral band. And it's a coin filler. It's got this little rotating section here, much like a Conklin Crescent has the little section that rotates. This has a little rotating section, and you rotate it, and then you can see the hole, and you depress the pressure bar with the matchstick to fill the pen.
So is it a matchstick or a coin filler?
Did I say coin? I meant matchstick. Yeah, it's a matchstick filler. I'm sorry. And it has the classic wort ventless nib where the feed is vented. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
How did that get into your case? Did I not know that? You're sneaking pens on me.
No. We set that next to the bar. And then he continues to keep pulling these pens out. I mean, it's like pulling, rabbits out of a magic hat. It was crazy. So, departing from the hard rubber theme, he comes out with an Esterbrook.
Ooh.
And finding an Esterbrook I don't have either means it's really, really rare, or it's
really rare.
Yeah, or it's some weird variant that I no longer, I don't need to have the extra period on the and company or whatever, on the imprint. Clipless pastel.
Those are cool.
Yeah. They're hard to come by to begin with, and almost everyone you find is the light green. Actually, all of them that I've seen have been light green. And Mike told me, actually, in Little Rock, he says, "Well, I have one, but it's yellow. Is that anything special?" I'm like, yeah. So he brings it to the show.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Let me take that off your hands. Here's $5.
Yeah. So time goes by, and I've got the Barden Brothers dip pen, the wort, the Esterbrook, and they get set aside in the case for further reevaluation.
Wait a minute. What does that mean?
Well, at the time, we hadn't decided what what the exchange medium was going to be. 11 o'clock in the afternoon, I had the chance to give a seminar all about Esterbrook. And having only been informed of this about 2 days prior, I wasn't completely prepared. I didn't have all the good, rare early samples, but I grabbed as many as I could. Off I went. Surprisingly, the room had probably a couple dozen people in there, quite full, and with less than an hour to encompass 100 years of Esterbrook history, I think we did all right. Show and tell ended the session. People got a chance to see some really cool pens.
Yep.
Got back to the table as quick as I could after that to continue some selling. Busy. And then I secured my final acquisition of the weekend in a trade. Now, sometimes things just come up to the table and it was meant to be. So
They just walk up by themselves.
They walk up by themselves and they present themselves in such a manner that you have to rescue them. So, another boxed pen. Nice box. Okay. And inside, now you can see the box. It's got a little bit of an ink stain there.
Don't they all?
Yeah. Maybe Todd and Company Swan. So apparently it's a Swan, Maybe Todd and Bard inspired weekend. Let's see if you can see this here.
That's a pretty one.
A Swan eyedropper, chatelaine. It's got the little chain. It has the clip here, and the pin is actually marked CT and Company, and I haven't figured out who exactly that is yet. And the pen is not marked with the Bard name, but actually on the barrel near the section it's marked Swan MTB. So perhaps it's somewhere in that crossover. I'm not sure the age of it yet, but cool thing is that this is one of those pens that has a little pin on the section. So, and there's a notch in the cap, and so they line up that way so it doesn't, when you're hanging the pen, it doesn't fall off. You put it in and then you give it just a slight twist so it locks it itself in place. It has a gold overfeed. And it has this cool little feed here, and when you unscrew it, there's a like a spiral wire feed. This thing looks like it was used once or twice and put back in a box. Black hard rubber is just black and pristine. It's crisp as would have been, turn of last century, and the gold filled bits are just beautiful.
It's a gorgeous pen.
Yeah, so
you can keep that one.
I will keep this one. I have to. I actually haven't fully earned it yet. I have to do some repairs, but we'll get those done this week, and then we can safely call it a square deal.
So you're pimping yourself out for pens?
That? Are you kidding me? Oh yeah,
that's a yes.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, believe it or not, I had an offer to sell it right away too. So I knew it was a good deal, but. Later on that afternoon, also after that, we saw us add some Monteverdi ink to our stable. Unfortunately, not quite enough time to put it on the table, but you'll see it on our table from now on. And we picked up a number of Schaefer display trays, some books. I almost forgot this. This is a little teaser. Some vintage pens. In a large bag. And some inks, so expect to see those at your nearest show or website sometime soon.
Yeah, we don't buy pens by the tray anymore. We just buy them by the pound.
Just a big old bag of them.
Gotta love that. Let's see. Let's talk people. I think Brian goes to shows for the pens. I go for the people, and then the pens. Joel Hamilton and Cheryl Tyree were there, of course. And it was really, really awesome to see Ginger Welch at the show, especially so soon after the fire and the loss of Stan. Shirley Lindsay was there again this year with some of what's left of the late Lowell Lindsay's pen collection and some great books. She had some really good books last year that we managed to snag. Mm-hmm. Always awesome to see Sam and Frank of Pandemonium. We just always seem to kind of catch each other like halfway through Saturday. It seems like, oh, hey, finally got a way to say hi. Dan and Cindy Ruppert, of course. Mike and Tim Butler, we've spoken with them. We've spoken about them a little earlier. And a bunch of people from Little Rock. I don't know how far it is.
It's 5-6 hours probably, depending on where you live, I guess.
I would drive that far for a show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But a bunch of people from Little Rock. Mike and Tim drove in with Arnie Nachman. Our good friend Fern Padilla was there. Hi, Shannon. And Wendy Gregory, who is just so cheerful and so enthusiastic. She's just a bundle of fun. And Sean Newton was there. So that handled kind of the South contingent. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Dolev of Total Office Products, always there. He's just so sweet. And Mario and Angelica of Toys from the Attic. We swapped a couple dirty jokes, and that was fun. Alan Quiet and John Jenkins, both PCA directors, manned the PCA table for me, which was a huge help. Usually I end up doing it. And Alan held the Pens for Kids seminar. We did see briefly Danny Fudge and Perry Kearney. Danny was busy most of the time and always liked to tease Perry about his bright, colorful Hawaiian shirts. In fact, we took a picture of a bedspread in a hotel once.
It was in Detroit last year.
Okay, in Detroit. So, we're getting ready to go back. And we emailed it to him and said, I think we found your shirt. So it was kind of fun. And Tim Pearson was there with his huge setup. I don't know how many tables he takes, but he's got these huge like risers and
trays and trays.
Yeah, I mean
pens.
Thousands of pens.
Yep.
I would love to be a fly on the wall watching him when he either sets up or tears down. There's just so much stuff. I mean, it must take longer than us.
Yeah, well, it does. Yeah, he was one of the last people there after we left. Yep. So
yeah, and still gonna be a while unpacking. So or packing up. So
yeah, all in all, it was really a terrific show. It was our best Dallas show yet, and definitely I would say the most highly attended we've seen since we started going.
Yep.
It's no longer the little club or regional show it once was. I think it's fast becoming it's going to be a major pen show on the pen show landscape, rivaling some of the other so-called major shows. If you have the time off next year or you're within driving or flying distance, I highly recommend taking the trip and going.
They are friendly organizers. They take good care of you. The rates are very reasonable. And even though it's a Friday, Saturday, they do great promotion. We were, in fact, one of the ways we judge how good a show is how late we eat lunch, if at all.
Yeah.
I'm still hungry.
Yeah, and there was no shortage of pens. I mean, there was some really cool modern stuff. And there was more vintage pens than I could. I mean, if I have a hard time trying to narrow down what I'm going to buy at a show, that's a good show. So, can't say it enough. Yeah, if you can make it next year, definitely go. Let's moving on real quickly. Let's not forget the back to school giveaway. If you can't go to the show, we've got something for you.
See, we've been getting in some really awesome entries. I think we mentioned last week we had one written on the back of a Raisin Bran box. It's got to be up there in my top favorite entries. One which had 2 French stamps with the letters A and P on them.
Yeah,
so
I think
cool.
That's my favorite one, I think. Yeah.
The Christmas card. Yep. We've got a couple other funny ones. So keep sending them in. I do have one personal request, though. From now on, and this is just an ink thing, when you send in a note or a letter, let me know what ink you are using, because some of these are written with these gorgeous inks, and I'm just drooling all over them trying to figure out what ink it is. So
yeah, we got one today in the most pretty amazing purple ink, and I don't, I'm black and blue and a little red, but I don't know, this is a cool purple ink, so real dark purple. So that's kind of what inspired it.
So
but
tell me what you're using so I can go out and get a bottle.
Yeah. Until October 6th, we're going to accept letters and postcards for the October 7th podcast drawing. On that day, the winner is going to be offered his or her choice of the Monteverde Artista Crystal, 2 packages of Pelican International cartridges, and one of our very own Proper Pads notebooks. If you don't know what the Artista Crystal looks like, you can see there's a picture of it on our Facebook page. You can just go to the website and take a look under Monteverde. Very cool looking pen. Crystal is, as the name implies, they're transparent pens, but very cool pens.
Yep. Pen color choices are clear, turquoise, pink, or lime green. Nibs are all medium, so that makes the choice easy. The winner will also choose from the 5 different colors of the Pelican Short International cartridges. You've got brilliant black, royal blue, brilliant red, turquoise, and violet. We'll toss in one of our newly designed notebooks, and you're all set.
Yep. You get pen, paper, and ink all to the winner.
Send your entry in the form of a postcard or a letter or a note card. No emails, texts, or other electronic entries allowed. Limit 1 per person, please. You know who you are. Please do include your email address on your entry so that we can contact you if you are the winner. And yes, international entries are absolutely encouraged.
Yeah, I think we have more international than domestic at this point.
All right, so domestic entries are absolutely encouraged. Mail them to us at Anderson Pens Back to School Giveaway, P.O. Box 732, Appleton, Wisconsin, 54912.
And we'll draw the winner at random during the podcast. So, anything else you want to talk about this week?
I think the show review is all anybody wants to know about.
All anybody wants to know. All right. Comments, suggestions for topics, letters, whatever. Use your pens. Write to us at Anderson Pens, P.O. Box 732, Appleton, Wisconsin, 54912.
Or catch us online.
Email is brian@andersonpens.net.
Or lisa@andersonpens.net.
Twitter, twitter.com/andersonpens.
We are on Facebook, facebook.com/andersonpens.
The web, of course, andersonpens.net.
And don't forget our blog, andersonpens.net/blog.
Join our mailing list for advance notice of upcoming events or pre-orders. Thanks for listening to the podcast. See you next week for the Detroit Pen Show Review edition. Take care.
Bye.